right, on the Bubblical channel, one of the things that I strive to do is stay out of the political fray. I might leak a little something here or something there, but I will rarely, I will never say what candidate to vote for or anything like that. But I will take, I've been asked by a few people to say, hey, why don't you give a little guidance, on politics? And I'll say, well, it's not something that I want to do, but let me tell you how I've been guided. And maybe this will help you too. In the election of 2016, I couldn't help but to feel that both candidates available to me, they just weren't the kind of candidates that I would pick. In fact, it was worse than that. I thought, man, this is the worst two candidates I've seen in my years of living, and I'm 53 years old. And that also brings me to say this. The truth is, though, I have never voted for someone who I felt was absolutely perfect for the job. I always feel like I'm voting between the lesser of two weevils, if you ever watched Master and Commander, the movie. The lesser of two weevils. That's how I always feel like I'm when I'm voting. But I've always been, of the mind to try to do my best in researching, the candidates. But in the 2016 election, I felt like I needed a little bit of help, and I went to one of my go-to helps. And one of my go-to helps has been a go-to help for me, and I've never met the man, but he's an African-American gentleman. He's American, but of African descent. And I got spilled onto him in college, and his name is Thomas Sowell. And I recommend you read everything that Thomas Sowell writes, because I think he is one of the most measured, balanced men. He's almost 90 years old now. But he actually had the most brilliant thing to say about the election in 2016. And he said it like this. He said, if you have two candidates that are neither one of them you like, he said, pick the one who is the most impeachable. And that made a lot of sense to me. One of the things about our Constitution and Declaration of Independence that should be unanimous with us all is that we never want to see government get corrupted. And it's very clear to all of us that government does get corrupted and has been corrupted. And so what Thomas Sowell is saying is that if you have two candidates that neither one of them you like, pick the one that you can get rid of the easiest if they do something wrong. Meaning, don't pick a lifelong politician in a choice where you can't stand either choice. Pick someone who is going to be easier to get rid of. And that kind of spills you into, where I'm coming from. I'm also wearing this shirt. It's Blexit. This is run by a young lady that I think is a rising star. Her name is Candace Owens. So I find Candace Owens to be a very valuable young person to listen to, and I support her. And Thomas Sowell is a guy that I think you need to read everything that he has written, and you'll understand politics, government, and economics. If you just read his book, Basic Economics, you'll be right there. He also writes a fun book called Black Rednecks and White Liberals. I think it's a very, very good, accurate, kind of history of where things are. But I think that's where I'm coming from. Given the choice between two characters that I think are crazy characters to begin with, I'm going to go with the one who is most impeachable. And you can see that character was attempted to be impeached at just about every twist and every turn. And that tells me that character probably hasn't done anything wrong in these at least last 3 years, so to speak. That's my hunch, because if they could get rid of him, they would get rid of him. The other one, man, I don't think you'd ever get rid of that likes. And when it comes to this election, I think you have, yet again, that same kind of choice. You may not like either candidate, but one of them is part of a government that we don't want to see. And we don't want to see people getting involved in government for their own power and their own well-being. We want them in government because we want a government of the people, by the people, and for the people, as Abraham Lincoln said. We hope that thing never goes away. And what always is risking compromising that is just that, the corruption of government. So I think we got to do everything we can do to get the corruptions of government out of government. So newcomers never scare me. It's the old timers that scare me when it comes to government.